Wow. See the excitement?
I can see why these podcasts go for so long. We just had 3 people tied up for about a minute listening to a sound. Far out. Okay, this is what I'm in for. I better strap myself in. Might need some of those racing seatbelts to strap me into this chair here.
All right, here we are, Ducks Don't Get Cold Feet, and we are at event number, whatever you want to call it, number 46. I'm super excited to be in the same room as Andy Lee. Now, he's not the Andy Lee that was on TV, married to a hot supermodel, which I don't think he is anymore. But I'm sure his wife is hot, just like Megan Gale.
Wow.
I'm sure.
Wow, what an intro. What an intro. My partner Natalie wanted a shout out on the podcast, and she's got a shout out in the first minute. So tick that box, and we've moved on.
Tick that.
She is my supermodel. She's lovely.
Oh, see, I told you, you don't have to be on TV to be a star, and I've always thought that. But Andy, we met at an event that John Pearl put on.
We did.
And I learned a fascinating story about what your business is, and is it WOD Life?
The WOD Life, yes.
The WOD Life. And I was doing CrossFit bits and pieces. I'm probably the slackest person at the gym, but I like doing CrossFit stuff. I don't like, being punished to death, but I like CrossFit. And I want to get into where you think that's developed into what it is today. But when I saw the WOD Life, I 100% thought this was a company in America pushing stuff to us here in little old Adelaide. But I learnt that the WOD Life was started here in South Australia.
That's right. So when we first met, we were talking about SA businesses sort of taking on the world.
Yep.
And we are from humble Adelaide. It is a massive perception thing that people perceive that we're from international or overseas, interstate. It's crazy.
So can you give us a snapshot on what the WOD Life is?
It is. Yeah, sure. So
for people that don't know.
Yeah, WOD means workout of the day. So people that are involved in that lifestyle, myself and co-founder Ben were training in the gym, CrossFit gyms. Ben was in Adelaide. I was in Melbourne at the time. We were just training and we wanted access to products to help us feel fitter and go faster. And one of those products was a jump rope. We wanted access to it. It was actually in the US. So we didn't have it here in Australia. We contacted them, couldn't buy it online back then.
So what year are we talking?
2013 is when we started. So
yep.
10-year anniversary this year, which is super cool. But going back to 2013, e-commerce wasn't really a thing, still starting in Australia. The products that we wanted were overseas. This one in particular was in the US. They wouldn't ship it to us. We couldn't buy it on their website. The only way we could get access to it was through wholesale. They said, well, you're going to need to open an account. Okay, well, we just want one or maybe two. How many do we have to buy? And they sort of said, 50. 50, geez, okay. Well, look, we'll come back to you. So we talked about it. Look, 2 to 50, bit of a difference. But look, let's just do it. How much is it going to cost? I think it was about $1,000. And we go, all right, 500 each, put it in, bought the 50, basically split it out. So Ben, my co-founder, got 25. I got 25. We took it to our gyms and sold it to the people in the gym. And we had corporate jobs. We had real jobs, as people would call it. And we just kind of gave it to our friends at the gym. They were pumped. We thought we were going to get fitter and faster in our workouts. Now everyone in the gym was fitter, so we didn't really get too much of a benefit. But everyone got hooked up, and then we thought we were sort of heroes that day for one day in the gym, and then it just sort of went from there. What else can you get? What else can you get? Well, we didn't really think about it. So what started as a personal pain point for myself and also Ben sort of was born into something a lot bigger and has turned into something a lot more than we ever dreamt. But pretty crazy to start from one jump rope, and now we have hundreds of thousands of products from tons of different brands. So.
Wow. So what's it? Yeah, I remember jumping, with a bit of rope, bit of string. What's so flash about your?
You make it sound so simple. Well, look, in working out, especially CrossFit workouts and high intensity workouts, you're trying to do it faster, for more repetitions than the person next to you. So if you could get one extra rep than the person next to you on the board, you were higher up. And it was just this competitive mentality where that one thing's going to make a difference. So the famous line when we were selling it was like, it's as smooth as butter. It's as fast as butter. And that just, it flew out of our hands. And that concept, it went super fast. It was super quick. Maybe you were probably using a bit of tin and some string, probably why your workouts weren't as fast as they could be.
Yeah, what was the rope made
This
out
was
of?
just, it had ball bearings in there. It was this super fast wire. If you missed, it would lash you on the legs, which probably is a reason why you didn't miss and you got faster, because you thought you were going to get whipped. But yeah, it was that one piece of kit that just everyone wanted.
So you're the blame for those ropes Soul 360.
I would say they probably have a rope from us. Like,
absolutely. And it whips you and it almost cuts you. I came home one night. My wife goes, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
I was like, I was at the gym. And she goes,
sure you were. Yeah.
That's exactly what she said.
Yes.
She goes, I'm sure you were. But
that plastic coating on the rope, on the cable, that's going to slow you down. So take that off, bare cable, go 10 times faster.
So I was skipping in my garage every morning. I'd wake up and then I'd do plank or push up, and I was doing it in bare feet. And fuck, you learn really fucking quick. That
You'll
fucking
jump
hurts.
a little bit higher.
And in winter, it hurt. I stopped doing it as a pussy. It was too hard.
Yeah.
But that's one big skip for man. Going
Talk about sound bites.
No, leaping from a bloody skipping rope to an online store. Like, you have to be a little bit crazy in the head to think that was a good progression.
Yeah, as I said, we never fathomed that we would be where we are today, talking 10 years on. And it was that one rope that started it all. And then our friends, they could probably be to blame a little bit as well. Hey, what else can you get? What else can you get? And then really opened from there. And we were just two guys in the gym wanting to do better, be fitter, and we were inspired by that lifestyle. And yes, it was born out of a CrossFit gym, but however, we were working out. And it really just grew from there. And funny enough, a lot of people were having the same pain points as us. Back then, you just couldn't buy something online. We remember buying from websites, and you have to ring them up and get their bank details and then deposit money in the bank.
So
and then
good.
7 days later, okay, we've received your money. Our bookkeeper's cross-checked it in our bank account. Like, that's just wild. But you think about it now, it's just one-click purchase, bang. So
you go from like $1,000 in the year in 2013 to you're nudging up to $30 million in 2023. That's incredible.
It's a absolutely wild ride. And yeah, we were two guys bootstrapped. My credit card was loaded up. So it's not like we had huge startup capital or venture funding, nothing like that. We bootstrapped it off the back of a credit card. We started with a rope. I use the supermarket analogy a lot, and I sort of say, imagine you're walking into a supermarket and it looks full, but it's only got one thing on the shelf. And then we would sell that loaf of bread and buy 2 loaves of bread. And then we'd sell 2 and buy 4. And that's how we built up our inventory over time. We wanted to appear like a superstore, we had everything, but we really only had 1s and 2s when we started.
So what did you have, different colour rope or something?
It started with the rope. Ben will love this. Like Ben's house was Ben's bedroom was our first warehouse. So we get everything delivered into him. And I think part of it, the startup, was the excitement of testing out products. We remember testing out paleo bars when that was hot, like the early protein bars, and friends we knew running businesses, they would send us product for free and we would test it out. How good's this? We don't care if we're running a business. We're getting free stuff sent to us. It was awesome. And then, made the grade. No, didn't make the grade. If it did make the grade, put it on the site. Yeah, it was just crazy. But we didn't think too much of it. And it's almost like that ignorance is bliss, in a sense that we hadn't run a business like this before. We didn't even own a business. We were working, professional jobs.
What were you doing?
I was in corporate finance.
What was Ben doing?
Ben was in politics. So what a mix.
Well, he saw the light, that's for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. all the skills that we've had in our careers have really set ourselves up for success now. We worked in supermarkets packing shelves as our first jobs. So, okay, how do you run a warehouse? How do you open a box? You know, how do you wheel a pallet jack around?
Yeah, you've learned all that.
All of that stuff has like set us up for success. So we always say that everything that we've done in our life, in our career, in our part-time job, like I even sold footy records as one of the first jobs I had.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've got to sell to people. You've got to talk to people. Someone's walking past you. How do you stop them and make them want to buy something? So all of those skills have played a role into where we are today. And I think a lot of people discount that, going, oh, it's just a job. But it stacks up. What
do you think for an early stage? You guys really rode a CrossFit wave. Now, from my outside looking in, and CrossFit's pretty hardcore, and I'd almost say the CrossFit athletes are probably some of the toughest athletes going around. I mean, not a UFC fighter or anything, but physically, mentally push themselves into some pretty dark places. This is you. You are that person.
Oh, I think and we started out of CrossFit, and I think the great thing about CrossFit is the community aspect.
They're excitable.
Everyone got behind what we were doing.
Yeah.
And they could see what we were trying to do, and then they're like, right, these guys are doing this, let's get behind it. And I don't think if we didn't have that support early days, we wouldn't be where we are. And in the early days of CrossFit, and anyone that works out at 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning, a lot of people would look going, hang on, that's not quite right. I don't even get out of bed until 8. But so if you're working out at 6 a.m. in the morning, you're driven, you're a A-type personality that wants to be successful and do things in your life. So those types of people are great. And they were our friends. We were those people back then. And that really helped support, kickstart something big. And yeah, there was that excitement around CrossFit back then. It's definitely evolved and grown. But we're very lucky for the support there, early days, and we're far greater than that now. CrossFit is still at the heart of what we do, but fitness takes on many forms and different types of gyms and everything. So, yeah, it was great to have that support early days, and you do need a lot of things. You can't just walk in there and work out. You need a rope, you need the right shoes, you need a weightlifting belt. So knowing and being in that community and in that gym, we kind of knew what people would want because we wanted that ourselves. And we felt we were just like the crusaders trying to bring it to people. I think that's something that still holds true with Ben and I today, is just we're trying to introduce cool products that we want to use that people will help their lifestyle and help them work out and be motivated to go back in the gym day after day.
So what do you think is some of the key learnings that have helped you get to where you are today? I mean, you quickly mentioned one about selling. It seems that all startups and all founders, the person running it, the CEO or MD or founder or whatever, they need to be hard on selling, even if they don't think they're selling. Like, you always seems to, I mean, there's a saying that you should always be selling. What are some of the traits which has helped you guys stand out from a crowd?
Yeah, well, it depends on what angle you look at it.
Yeah.
I've got a few different angles, but selling, you don't have a business unless you can make sales.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely the most important thing, and that's what kind of gets you off to the races, and that allows you to start doing other things. Without selling, you don't have a business and you can't do everything else that you anticipate. So absolutely, number one, selling, super important. Number two, product. You can't sell a bad product.
Yeah.
You've got to have the right product, and that makes selling easier. So I think they go hand in hand, is selling, number one, two, the right product, and then three, understanding your consumer so that you have the right product, selling to the right person, and that all just works together super, super well.
I like, for us, we now we own the whole chain from wholesaling to retailing. In the past, it was all driven by whatever the wholesaler wanted. Now we're driven by what our customer wants.
For sure.
So now we're listening to the customer component. Okay, that's what they want, and then we have to back engineer it to go, okay, how do we get them that product? And that sometimes then goes back to a supplier saying, hey guys, have you thought about making a product like this? And when you're customer led, only good things can happen.
Absolutely. We always say that we work for the customer and we work for our community. Without them, we don't have a business. So it really starts there. And that's how we started the business, knowing that we were effectively the customer. We were buying for ourselves at the start. And then understanding what it is that they need. It's not always easy. We're not all lucky enough to be a visionary like Steve Jobs and know that you need an iPhone before you actually know it. And Henry Ford, you know, I'm not normally a quotes guy, but Henry Ford says, oh, if I asked the people what they needed, they would have said a faster horse. So we wouldn't have had cars.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to kind of know what people want before
absolutely.
they know they want it. But I think a lot of the time I
think it's critical, and a lot of the time, not a lot of time, sometimes suppliers come to us and we have products and we sit there and we taste it and then we're like, that's shit. And that's like, how the hell did this get to a stage where you're releasing this? And I'll say, I'm going to put 80% of the time, I'll be right. You know, when it's wrong, like how does it get to that stage? Now, I know with suppliers, they have focus groups, they have, you know, a whole lot of different ways of getting to the products and to the focus group people and, you know, saying, okay, this product's viable. How do you guys get to this product's viable?
Yeah, well, I think Ben coined the term box testing or in the gym testing, and that's where we did a lot of it early days, is that we brought products into the gym, gave them to the guys and girls that we were working out with and say, hey, test this, tell us what you think about it. That's something we did super early days, and it's real live feedback.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's super confronting.
Yeah.
You go, oh, wow, okay, I didn't think that. I quite like that design or that product. We thought that was going to be a winner. And then sometimes you're pleasantly surprised where you go, okay, wasn't quite sure about this, but people are just raving about it. We've had like multiple instances of that. So I think the success of a business is how can you shortcut that? How do you get that feedback loop in there so that you're going customer to product super quick? It's not, okay, well, it's going to take us 12 months to develop. We're going to have to go through a feedback. We're going to have focus groups, design. Nah. It's how quickly can you get a product from that feedback point to market, test that as well, where you're not investing thousands and thousands of units into a certain product you don't know. And then once you get that early feedback, then plumbing that back into the product and the supplier to make sure that you can supply the demand there that they've said that they wanted.
So how important do you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 and why is speed to market?
Is 11 a number?
Okay.
I think sometimes people think I'm a little bit, I don't think we'd be in business or where we are today without that. It is uncomfortable wanting to operate at speed. And I know people look at me sometimes and go, hey man, that's just a bit wild. Like we can't do things that fast. Well, why not?
But I have people around me say that all the time.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, awkward
but
silence,
look, speed's imperative, and trying to shortcut feedback loops, get speed to market, super key, learn and ensure that the loop is tight enough where you can act and react quicker.
So there's like sometimes I'm going to ask you what product you've got that right and what product you've got that wrong. So think about that. But there's a product that sparked my attention and they're predominantly in women, I think, but they're tights that have marks to make their ass look better. Now, I don't know what they're fucking called.
When you said that you had a product in mind, I said he's not going to go there, is he? And he went there. Went there.
Was that Rider Wear that come up with that or not? Because they're just next door here, Rider Wear.
Yeah, look, I don't know if I'm sure a lot of companies would claim it. The
scrunch tights.
Scrunch bum leggings is what I've heard. Yes.
Yeah, I don't have some, but I've seen them. What do you guys like? Can you get them for guys?
They're feverishly Googling over there. I can hear the keyboard tapping away.
To me, I see them bloody everywhere now. They are everywhere. So
yeah, it's a problem solution. You know, what do girls want? They want tights and leggings that make them look fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is like a product that apparently the market has responded saying that people do want this product because brands are selling it.
Yeah, so
it's wild. Do you have one? We operate outside. Do I personally, or as representing the world? We don't. We haven't ventured there.
Is
That's probably outside of our remit, our sort of community and consumer.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit different. But look, brands are producing it. There's variations of that as well, and there must be a reason why people are buying them.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I look at
crazy.
that and I think, it's that it kind of gets your attention, and it's not because I'm looking at their ass. It's like they clearly look different. And then I thought, maybe that's just a few people, but then you see them everywhere, like and I'm like, okay, that's making the most of opportunity. And the Fogarty guy, David, is like the Udi thing, like little bit of a market, bang, quickly, and you've got to get onto it. Do you get scared you get caught in the market? And I put it down to a new restaurant in Adelaide. Like, bang, you go there and you go there plenty of times. And if they are not reinventing themselves or giving you different stuff on the menu or the customer service, or first of all, the food's got to be great. But if they are not, you'll go elsewhere. Sure. Do you find that with your product range?
Look, really good question. And I think the answer to that is it's an art and a science in that, yes, you can. There's an art to it in kind of knowing what the consumer might want or what you think that they need, but then there's also a science in terms of the data, and it's a balance. It can be subjective, objective in terms of, okay, the data says this, this is how we should act, but then there's a human element that you overlay there, going, hang on a second, let's think about this. And then trying to intersect those. It's not easy at all. It is one of the most difficult things, as you would know, with such a huge product range. How do you know? And yeah, Ben and I always have like these famous stories of like Nike's one of the fantastic brands that we deal with.
Yep.
And huge household name, massive brand, and for us to be able to work with Nike is a dream come true.
Absolutely.
So one of the things is that they have a portal where we buy product from, and because Nike's Nike, they don't want people to see their products 2 years ahead of time.
So how do you?
So we log into their website. They have the product name, and it'll be in some cryptic name of a color that you've never heard of. You'll understand the model. So it might be Nike Metcon 10 is the next one to come out.
So that's a shoe.
It's a shoe.
Yeah, I know that one.
Nice. Done your research. And it won't have a photo of the shoe. It won't have a graphic of the shoe. It won't have a computer-generated image of the shoe. It will have a placeholder. It will have an orange lock on it saying, that this shoe's coming. We can't show you what it looks like.
Trust us.
Yeah, trust us, right? For the time being, it's just an orange lock. So safely place your bets. So it's like walking into the casino and placing your bets, going, okay, well, fingers crossed. I hope this comes off. And that's, look, Nike, their product division is fantastic, and their ability to, again, tell the consumer what they want before they know they want it is like second to none. And yeah, we've placed some big bets there, but most of the time it comes off.
Where have you got it right?
That, like an example, we sort of say, we're putting a deposit for a house down on a pair of Nikes. Are we okay with that? We don't know what it's going to... Imagine saying you had to buy a product that you don't know what it looks like. How would you...
I've done it with a car.
Yeah, okay. What type of car was that?
It was a Lexus.
Okay.
LFA.
Nice.
10 years, 7 years before...
So you trusted it. What made you pull the trigger? You trusted enough in Lexus that you knew it was going to be good?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sold on the aluminium, which they had.
Okay.
But as soon as they turned to carbon monocoque, I was like, that's it. And then they had sold. Sold. Yeah, and then I literally put money down 5 years before before I even saw it.
Yeah, so the thing that makes those decisions easy is the brand, the history. You know, you've got a level of confidence. The amount of people that have signed up to a Cybertruck and put their deposit in.
Applied.
Just to flex on their Instagram story. Shout out Ben, my co-founder, who's definitely done that. We were actually in the US and we got to see the Cybertruck in person, so I think that was...
Is it cool? Yeah,
it was awesome. It was like his life goal. There was an exhibition in LA there, the Peterson Motor Museum. We spent the day there. It was just insane.
Is it big?
Yeah, huge. And of course, like... Ben's probably the bigger car guy of he and I. he said, man, we've got to go and check out the underground. It's called the Vault.
What?
The Vault.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, they've got a vault of cars that you'd probably pay an extra, I think it was like 20 or 30 US. And it's like an underground car park with their most famous, most rarest.
Tesla? Or
Peterson, the Motor Museum there.
Where's this?
In LA.
Peterson.
Is it Peterson?
I don't know. No. I love
I feel like
this.
I'm going.
No, I love this. I love this.
I'm right. Okay, fantastic.
We should know about this.
Fuel up the jet, JP, the Drake jet, Air Drake.
Yes, Air Drake.
Get that over there. That was awesome. So little tangent there, but yeah, we spent the day there. Super cool cars, and they had a Tesla exhibition as well. So the history.
Oh my God, there's an actual it's a real place. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not making it up. Fantastic.
No. I definitely didn't think you were making up, but. It's all there. Oh, like real flash.
Yeah, like so. I think it's called the Vault, and and we went down there, and there was all these car guys like following us around, telling us that we were asking them abstract stats about the car, like tell us about this car, and they were like they knew everything. It was awesome, like the best day.
What were they working there?
Yeah, it's kind of like museum curators, and they instead of knowing stuff about like dinosaurs or like old artifacts, they know everything about cars. Oh. It was crazy. Some are better than others, but. And then we kept asking, we were like, can you follow us around and we'll just ask you questions all day? And he goes, I've actually got like a 5-minute limit to deal with customers. We like maxed him out. So we went on to the next guy. But yeah, awesome. Anyone in LA who loves cars, check that out and dive into your pocket for that little bit extra. The Vault's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, the Vault. See, once again, paying for that bit of extra.
Yes.
Which
VIP exclusive. That's definitely like we talk about product, we talk about like market and what people want. Yeah, people will they love that. So and that day we love that. So good little. It was a segue, but bringing it back to product market fit and what people want is like absolutely. It's definitely gone that direction of exclusivity, something super cool, premium that not everyone can experience.
Who do you deal with? So you've mentioned Nike. I'm a big Nike fan, and the recent movies, the recent Jordan movie, I think Air, which showed a pretty cool story about and you watch that and you seem to be the same as me. We were brought up with this stuff, so
absolutely
to actually see the actual stories behind it's really amazing to see.
It's the coolest. It's coolest, like Shoe Dog, the book based on Phil Knight, his life, and then making of the movie with a bit of a Jordan twist. Like, oh man, as soon as I heard about that, I was there. I was that guy lining up. But yeah, awesome.
What brand that you deal with do you think does it best?
Very good question. Look, the big brands of Nike and Reebok, they've been delivering like year after year on that. And the longer and the bigger that you get, almost the harder it is to do that.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Nike and their product development's always kind of number one, and their marketing, their athlete activations is just phenomenal. But then the exciting thing, especially in our space, is that you always have new brands coming to the market.
Yeah. So who's a new kid on the block?
So there's a few new kids. One of them is they're not necessarily new, but they're new to fitness, and they're called Tier Sport.
Tier Sport?
Tier. TYR. Yeah. Some people call them TYR. They're, for those in Australia, they're sort of the Speedo of the US. So they kit out the US national swim team, which was fantastic when we went and visited them in Long Island, New York. At that time, there was a world swim meet, and Australia just absolutely dominated the US. So 2 Australians, Ben and I, walked into their office and let them know how good our Australian swim team was against their US swim team. They had R&D departments, underwater cameras on swimsuits to try and get the right angle to shave off seconds from workouts. So they've been around for many, many years in the US, but they've opened up a fitness and training division, and super, super quickly they've exploded into the space and created footwear. You talk about product to market. They've got a team there turning around product super quickly, taking on feedback. They can make a pair of shoes in-house, then send it to the factory. They're testing different colours. One of the team members there has a PhD in foam.
In foam?
Foam. So you talk about, people just buy a shoe and they don't really think about it, but they've got a guy who lives and breathes foam in terms of the construction of the shoe and what type of foam you should be using for a workout, for running, etc. You don't even think about these things, but you go, wow, okay, this is the setup that these guys have to be able to bring product to market so quickly, to do it in a way that people are going to respond to, and then to market it. They have a huge athlete team. So for them to be able to stand that up and to act on that so quickly, like, they're definitely making waves. Yeah, like they have a white, they released a full fluoro yellow shoe.
It looks so
It gets
cool.
people talking, right?
Like, I love the look of that.
It is a bit different. It's a new brand into the fitness and training space, but they come from swimming where they have all of this technology and infrastructure, and they've just moved into fitness, moving into running as well, which is a multi-billion-dollar category. So what they've been able to do, and to see that firsthand, you don't really get an understanding for, okay, there's this new brand, like the team, the infrastructure, the setup that they have is amazing, and they've definitely made waves super, super quickly. And then the other brand is probably a bit different, is RAD, or RAD Global, out of
RAD,
London in the UK. They've come in and disrupted the space completely in terms of creating a shoe in training. You know, you go, surely there doesn't need to be another shoe brand.
Yeah.
Boom, they come straight into the market, and they're creating a shoe that you want. You didn't know you needed, but you want it. And why is that? It's the branding, the communication, the activation, how it makes you feel. Because they are smaller, they can be more nimble. For example,
so more of a CrossFit style shoe by the looks of it.
Yeah,
flat,
the first shoe that they brought out was more CrossFit, more lifting, more in gym. So flat base, pretty durable upper, still sort of lightweight and easy to move in.
But can do a bit of running.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you'd go and run a marathon in that.
Yeah.
But you could, pump out a 5K pretty comfortably. So they've kind of entered the market in and shaken it up there, which is...
Once again, another cool-looking shoe.
Yeah. And their marketing and the way that they talk and act is just...
Well, the skipping rope you can get these shoes.
Yeah. They've come in and now they're doing a runner. So they're opening up that category as well. So that's the exciting thing, is that while you've still got the foundational brands, which are fantastic, and they'll continue to develop new product that consumers love and they continue to have an affinity for, you've still got these new brands that come crashing into the space.
So what is it like? You've mentioned something with your big brands, and I always talk about people do business with people they like. What is it that, Nike, big global company, you guys, well, like, you could be like comparing us with Coles and Woolworths. We're like a tiny little grain of salt. They wouldn't even know we exist. And is it this? How the hell are you getting the attention of some of the biggest brands in the world? A little, don't take it the wrong way, but a little old company in Adelaide, Ridlington, produce. How are you making those contacts?
Yeah, early days it was just taking no. That wasn't an answer for us. Like the vision that we had early days was around the lifestyle and connecting people with the motivation and the community around that was first and foremost as a foundation of what we do, but then connecting them with the products that motivate them and help them coming back into the gym day after day and a part of their lifestyle. So our big vision was for getting the best brands, the best products on board, and where we didn't have that, we created our own. So the WOD Life is a brand in its own right, which we can get into. But for the big brands, it's like, no, we had to have this. And it took us probably 4 or 5 years to get Nike on board to listen to us. They're obviously a massive brand, and when you're based in Australia, it's not necessarily part of their global strategy. But we like to think that we're doing something different, doing something that is specialty as well, in that not everyone's just, you don't just line up in Beaverton, Oregon, which I actually tried to bypass security there in the US once. That's sort of the lengths I went to try and get a contract with Nike. Is I visited Nike HQ and then said, I'm here to see someone. And I just said a random name. And the security guard kind of looked at me going, hang on, no, you're not. So I actually had to turn around. So that was in the early days of trying to work with Nike, but that was the extent that we went to. But yeah, it's offering something different that is specialty, that is around a key community, such as training, that Nike can't necessarily offer. Nike's a huge, like multi-billion-dollar business. They're doing so much. They can't necessarily talk to the consumer. And the relationship that we have with people who step foot in a gym and view training as a lifestyle is that we can do that and have that voice uniquely to talk to a certain product set that Nike just can't, because they're too busy selling running shoes and soccer boots, etc. So that's really the difference that we have, and how we can really elevate. We elevate through content as well, on-site experience, activation at events, partnership with athletes. They're all the things that we do with these brands that add value to them. And they don't really deal with everyone. So you really have to offer something there and do things differently for them to sort of sit up and take notice. And that's what we had to do, is we had to convince them. I think they believe in us now, seeing some of the orders that we place with them. But we had to convince them early days that this is our vision, this is what we want to achieve, and Nike's a key part of that. And not just with Nike, but the other brands we work with as well. Do
you get special treatment? Like, do you get like new unreleased Nikes that no one else in the world gets, or do you get like, oh, you guys have done a fair bit of business with us. What size are you, Ben and Andy? And do they send you like?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Pre-released Jordans, Nike Dunks, yeah. Anything you need, we've got it. So angling for a hookup there, JP. I wish that was the case. Yeah, I really wish. I got to stand in like every other idiot, or sit in line.
Damn it! I thought
maybe
I thought we were onto something there.
Yeah, I thought that was the case too. I remember, like, as a kid, I got handed a Nike catalog one day, and a person said to me, they owned a sports store in Japan actually, and sort of said to me, hey, study this catalog. You get to pick one shoe from this catalog. And I would study it for hours and days and weeks, and finally land on the shoe that I wanted. But yeah, no preferential treatment there, no hookups. But look, in that sense, like Ben and I, we always, like, when it's other people that own businesses, we would rather like support them. So for Rad, they actually did a van drop. They didn't have a shop in the US. They just turned up, told everyone they were going to be in a car park, opened the van up and sold shoes out the back of a van. Like that real startup style thing. And Ben and I could have kind of walked to the front of the line and going, don't you know who we are type thing? But no, we stood in line for like 3 hours to get a shoe like everyone else, and no one knew who we were or what we did. But that to us was the experience, and we wanted to show that, no, we're supporting everyone and we don't want any preferential treatment. I mean, I love that preferential treatment. Nike, if you're listening. But yeah, not so much. But look, we get to see a lot of products before they're developed. We'll go and meet with brands and see the pre-ranges and pre-launches to see what's coming to the market. Won't be allowed to take photos. Put your phone in this lockbox before coming in the meeting. And that's super cool. We love seeing what's on the horizon, what they're developing, new technologies, functionality. Super, super cool. So it's one of the perks of the job.
That's cool. So what is how important, obviously to you it's very important, how important is your e-com platform, and what platform is it?
Yeah, e-com platform's everything, especially when you're running big sales, big events, you rely on that. So luckily, we obviously did a lot of research when we started. Back in 2013, there wasn't too many e-com platforms that we could operate off. There was big commerce. There was maybe Magento.
Yep.
They were probably some we were weighing up. And there was this third platform, which was probably seen as a bit more of an upstart at the time, called Shopify, that we weighed up pros and cons, which one are we going to go with? And, by design, but luckily we picked Shopify.
Yeah.
And we've been with Shopify from day one to today. And that's the platform which we built on. We built our first website, got a friend to help us with a little bit of design and kind of hack that together. I think it cost us about $400 to set up our first website.
Wow.
So again, you've got a little bit of product, and we didn't have much money, so we put together a website on Shopify for about $400.
With a skipping rope.
Yeah, threw one skipping rope on there, some paleo bars, a couple of t-shirts, some knee sleeves as well. That's important. So yeah, we had a product assortment there when we launched, and that's like still to this day, like that's the one thing Ben and I probably love is the product development and what's going to work, what's not going to work. But yeah, we stood a website up, moonlighted. So when we left our professional jobs, we spent our nights and weekends on this project. And look, it was never perfect, but I remember the night that we launched, let the Shopify website go live, bought a domain, the WOD Life. We always wanted it to be around the lifestyle of working out. So that's where the name came from. And we went live, and then we had our first order. And always think this is like absolutely crazy and spins us out to this day is that the first order, we still remember the guy that placed the first order, Nick Corkill from Tasmania. I maybe know one person from Tasmania. And as soon as the order came through, I rang Ben and I said, man, do you even know, is this your mate? Do you know this guy, Nick Corkill? Like, do you know anyone in Tasmania? He goes, I have no idea who that person is, which like is crazy. You would have thought, maybe my mum placed the first order to help us out, maybe a friend to give us a bit of a kickstart. But no, it was some random guy we'd never heard of, we'd never met from Tasmania, and he placed an order. And that's like, I think to this day, just really illustrates the power of e-commerce and how global it is and how you can have a business in Adelaide reach the world. Is a guy you never spoke of, who you've never talked to, has somehow heard of your business and then has the confidence, like you buying your Lexus, like 5 years putting down a deposit. Like, he doesn't know us. Like, e-commerce is still pretty new. How does he know that we're going to deliver his product, not just going to take his money? So like that for us is like, wow, that's insane. And to this day we were high-fiving, couldn't believe it. We thought it was the greatest thing ever. That was just one order. But still, I think we have that feeling that every time an order comes in, we still have that feeling. Yeah, there's this thing with Shopify where it used to set off it does. I've had to disable it. I think Ben,
the bing.
Ben still has it on his phone that every time an order comes through, bing. And so he would still have it like until maybe last year, Ben still had that on his phone. He probably does. He probably just silences his phone when he's in the room with me. But he would ding. And I was like, mate. And it would ding again. I was like, oh, far out. Okay, busy day. And then I would say, why do you still have this dinging? And he would say, I just need to make sure that the orders are still coming in. It's like to this day. So like I think that feeling from day one of the first order still to today and the orders coming in, like that still really lights our fire and gets us excited.
It must, it's pretty cool. No matter
some have more dings than others, maybe. not looking at any people, but yeah, that feeling it's an amazing feeling.
So, if you talk about building the business, 2003, so you'd had a few years under your belt, then COVID hits. How did COVID affect your product? I know you developed a new product during COVID, but
absolutely,
how did it affect your product?
Yeah, so we were in business for a while.
Early 2020.
Yeah, 2020. So say we're in business 6-7 years. Yep. We had certain growth phases of the business there. Early days was just Ben and I. Then we brought someone in to help out, pack the orders, and grew from there.
Doing it from the backyard or?
Yeah, Ben's bedroom.
Then
we got a room at a gym and had someone come in there. It was probably no bigger than the room we're in now. And into a warehouse. So growing team over the time. We actually made the call. I was overseas at the time, came back for Ben's wedding. Yeah, Ben was getting married, came back, and then we were actually going to grow the team here in Adelaide. So we got an office space, we were hiring people, and the goal was, okay, we had our warehouse here in Adelaide. We were going to centralise all of our marketing and really try and build the team and really try and just capture the opportunity. We had big vision. Let's get some great people on board to help us achieve that. So we hired a full team. I think we were in the office for a week, and then COVID hit. So everyone had just met each other, kind of shook hands and learned each other's names. And then obviously the world turned, and we sort of said, hey guys, we know that you've just started here, but guess what? We're going back home to just work from our computers, our laptops, which is, we're an e-commerce business, we're a digital business, we're built on technology. So you could take your laptop anywhere, still be connected, still do the work. So we were super lucky in that respect that we'd kind of built the business digitally, and we could do that. So we could quickly allow people to work from home. It wasn't going to disrupt us too much, but really what we were trying to do was bring the team together and help that connectedness to really help us scale up. So yeah, we had these grand plans of bringing the team in, and so everyone was at home, and obviously your Google Hangouts or your Zoom calls. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. We obviously had a warehouse full of gear. We had all these shoes that we wanted to sell, and the apparel and all of our great products under the WOD Life brand that we wanted to get into the hands of our customers and community. And all of a sudden, people weren't going to the gym. Gyms were shut down. So our friends and our customers, their livelihood had just been, the brakes had been thrown on there. So all of a sudden, no one wanted they weren't going anywhere. They weren't leaving home, so they didn't need a new outfit. They didn't need new shoes. But what they needed was like equipment, because all of a sudden their livelihood, everyone that we built the business around with the lifestyle of working out, going to the gym physically, they were at home and they had nothing to do. So they were going stir crazy. So we sort of went, oh, gee, what do we do? And I remember like the first, I probably think a little bit deeper, and it takes me a little while to come up with a plan, but Ben definitely leapt into action. The politics background, the emergency plan. What are we going to do? He was great out there in front. All right, team, hand sanitizer for all, and he was fantastic. Right, okay, this is what we're going to do. Confident, and meanwhile, while we were coming up with a plan in the background, so we were lucky enough to have a broad product set. So okay, what do people need to work out at home? Resistance bands, we've got them. People can work out. Can do some bicep curls by putting their feet on the band. You would have done that before.
Mate.
It's important in your suitcase when you go traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I saw you doing a few before came into the meeting. Got to pump up. So yeah, we were just thinking, how do we help our customers and community, in their livelihood? So we kind of took it on ourselves to find that. We had a little bit of equipment in there, some barbells and bumper plates and dumbbells. I'll never forget the day that the lockdown was announced, and it was like if we had a physical store, it was like people riding in on horses and like pitchforks and fire on sticks, just like ransacking the joint. They just took everything that we possibly had. Anything you could lift up or put down was gone in like one day. It was wild.
So you got through a fair bit of stock?
In one day, yeah. But then we had nothing. And they weren't buying anything else.
No.
Even we had a partner that we were working with who we work with on a lot of the equipment. It's heavy. You don't want to have warehouses all over Australia. And they double sold all their equipment. So, but they only told us like 2 weeks after. So we hooked up all these people with barbells and bumper plates, and they were stoked to be able to get it. And then 2 weeks later, the supplier came back to us and said, actually, we sold that. You can't get access to that. You're going to have to tell your customer that, sorry, you can't fully order. Yeah, and obviously they didn't come out and say that straight away. We were like, hey, guys, what's going on here? When are you going to ship that out? Like, where's that order? Our customer hasn't got that yet. So that kind of, we're going, okay, how do we take control of this? And, the stories that you hear, and obviously it was a tough time for a lot of people, and especially early on until we were all figuring out what was going on.
Yeah.
But very quickly, Ben and I thought, okay, where, like, one, our customers and community, they're not going to be able to work out, so their livelihoods are at stake. Two, our team, our people that we've just hired, we need to pay their wages and make sure they can put bread on the table. What are we going to do? And then three, like, we've got to make something happen here. So we stood up an online fitness competition, which was the largest at the time. We got all of our community in there and saying, hey guys, we know it sucks right now, but we've got this competition that you can do at home. It's a workout. We put a workout out every day, leaderboards. People could do the workout and then put their time in and rank, people all over the world, which is super cool. It gave them something to aim for and something to do every day. It kept their mind off what was going on. So that was the first thing, and that was crazy. That was like so well received, and people were like, this is awesome. Yeah. And then the second thing, while we were doing that, we said we need to take control, right, what products can we manufacture and source to be able to get these in the hands of our customers and our community and the gyms that people can't go in and work out at. So we basically made our own product. We made our own equipment. We placed an order with a factory. We obviously didn't have the money. So how do we make this work? We rang up our bank. Hey, this is what we're looking to do. We can either have a business tomorrow, or we can kind of just cross our fingers and hope this all blows over. We're like, no, we're leaning into this. So they said, yeah, it was a Friday afternoon. Yeah, sure, no worries, guys. That sounds fair. We'll organise some financing for you to be able to get the order from the factory and, help you finance that.
Awesome.
Okay, happy days. Pull the trigger, place the order. Still to this day, we're still waiting for that money to come in from the bank. They just forgot about that. They never ended up getting it approved. So they never actually provided us with the funding. So, it was a 6-figure order, which we were just sort of testing the waters there at the time because we really didn't know what was going on, but we made the call, 6-figure order. Yeah, place it with the factories. It's going to take a month to get here, 2 months to get here. And we just pulled the trigger. And
how'd you say?
So we pivoted into pre-ordering the product because we basically stood it all up. We talk about product market fit, getting something to market quickly. We couldn't wait for it to arrive, do sexy photo shoots, get it up online. So basically as soon as we placed the order, we had the product up online and allowed people to reserve the equipment.
Yep.
So that they knew that, okay, they had peace of mind that I've reserved this, that the WOD Life is trusted. It'd been in business for 7 years at the time, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of orders placed. So I trust these guys to deliver on it. And I know Ben, I know Andy, their name's on the door. They're going to make this happen. Yeah. So, yeah, we made it happen. And even before the first order landed, we were placing 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Wow,
orders.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, the main thing there is that we pivoted. We lent into the uncomfortable nature of it, and we wanted to control our own destiny. And obviously that's what people wanted at the time. And then as things sort of went on, e-commerce had that boom phase because no one could really shop. People weren't going out. Everything was at home. And I'm long on e-commerce. I think that arguably everyone's going to be shopping online at some stage.
Yep. I think the better online does the... I've got a huge the global fitness market in the US, I think, it was 11 billion or something.
It was wild.
The global, it was 11 billion US dollars, projected to be 17 billion by 2023, and e-commerce accounts for 63% of that. That's a lot higher than in groceries.
Yeah, huge.
Groceries, it's less than 10. So you have done some amazing things. That's fair to say at the right times. That's why you're here.
Yeah, I mean, you create your own luck, right? Like an overnight success story that's taken 10 years. Where
absolutely, I mean,
we're pretty humble in what we do. Ben and I are still involved there all day, every day, and we love what we do, and we're passionate about it. And yeah, we wouldn't be doing anything else.
So how do you keep on top of the trends? Because I'm assuming you and Ben are the two that are saying, let's get scrunchy, what are they, tights or whatever. Who's how are you two on top of it?
Yeah, I think that's what I said earlier around, like, we love product, we love the industry.
Yeah.
It's fascinating for us. So yeah, that's one of the most enjoyable things, is to understand what's up and coming and look at new brands, new products. As I said, we do work with some fantastic brands, but we are a multi-brand retailer, but we're a brand in our own right.
Yeah.
So we're innovating and developing our own products with our great product team. So where there might be a product that isn't out there on the market that we're wanting to develop, we'll go ahead and do that. So that obviously takes a little bit of time to develop that and to do that to the level that we hold ourselves to. So, yeah, I mean, the internet's a lovely, lovely thing. You can look at things and see things happening before they've even happened, which is fantastic. Early days, when I was in the US, I would go to events, I would drive, I would tell brands and people that, hey, I'm coming to visit, and they're going all the way from Australia, and little did they know I was down the road in California, but I would tell them I'm going to come and visit and talk to them and learn, understand what they were doing. But also a lot of it just comes from pain points that we have.
Yeah. And
I think that's where some of the best ideas
absolutely
come from.
E-commerce, we all know that experience is critical in e-commerce. You don't get many strikes when you ruin a customer's experience. How do you judge what works on e-commerce?
Data.
Yeah. So sales?
Yeah, data is a big driver. Purchase? Yeah, in terms of the metrics we look at, absolutely. Like conversion rate is key. Average order value, super important. Units per order, very, very important for us. Similar economics and metrics as
basket size, how many items are in the basket, and if we could just get one more one more item in that
if we could get them to add this in their basket, that would change the business by, why. It's similar type stuff, absolutely. So it definitely translates.
It's very exciting. I've got some questions from some punters out there.
Awesome.
It's Ben.
Okay, of course, stitch up.
Who's your favourite business partner? I'm assuming Ben Dineen the WOD Life. I'm assuming that's
that sounds like a hacked account there. That sounds like a burner account. So the one and only. Yeah, of course.
Of course it's Ben. Adsman78. What's the best thing about being based in South Australia?
Yeah, it's a bit of an unsung thing that we don't really talk about too much, but we think Adelaide's a great place to do business. Obviously, the people here are fantastic. You don't get the noise of eastern states. Mm-hmm. Quite often, they say the planes come in full and go out empty. So it gives us better shipping and logistics rates.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard that with logistics in Australia, but I've never thought about out of the country.
Yeah. So that's great for us. Being able to obviously represent a place that we were born and bred, and still working with like people that we worked out with in the early days, people that own gyms, and that's like awesome for us. So to be able to do that, we're surrounded by friends and family is pretty cool. But to be able to do that from Adelaide and do that on a global scale is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another one there about how do they get your products into their business to business?
Okay.
I don't know.
Business hook up there.
Yeah, there's a business hook up there. We can give you the details.
It's not Scrunch Bum Leggings, is it?
No. Yeah, it's hashtag
JP's Fitness. Hang on a second.
Yeah. New range. So, thank you very much. I do have some hard-hitting questions, though.
Okay, now the real stuff starts. Yeah. Okay.
So, if you weren't doing what you're doing now and money wasn't an object, what would you be doing?
Yeah, I always said I wouldn't ever wear a suit and tie again. I used to wear a suit and tie to work all the time, and we turned up to when Ben and I won a Shopify award in our first year for one of the fastest growing businesses in the Shopify ecosystem. For that year, we actually went out and bought suits.
You did?
Yeah, we did. We went to the Beverly Center in LA, bought suits because we were meeting Mark Cuban, Tim Ferriss, Damon John, Lil John as well, these heavy hitters. We're like, we got to look the part here. So we wore a suit. And we were the only two idiots in the room that wore a suit. So after that day, I just refused to wear suits. So, yeah, I mean, I would probably be still in.
Doing what you're doing.
Yeah. That's like the best thing is I know I'm looking at you right now and you've got a shirt and tie on. But yeah, look, I think we're passionate about it and we absolutely love it. And I think if our business was, as big as it is, if not bigger, or if it was just Ben and I, we'd still probably be doing the same thing, maybe just at a smaller scale.
Funny, I get it a lot. Yeah, I would be doing what I'm doing. Is there any advice you can give to like a 16 or an 18-year-old Andy Lee out there that's wanting to do something? What's some worldly advice you could give him or her?
Yeah, I'm always humbled when someone asks me for advice, but I say just get as much experience as you can early days and don't think about the money. I know you kind of get attracted to, I've got to have this job because I want to earn this. Yep. But early days in your career, it's about the experience you can get, who you can work with, what you can learn, what you can get exposure to, because that's really going to set the foundation for your future success. So put your hand up for everything and anything, within reason, of course. Like, kind of get an idea of where you want to go and what you need to do to get there, and put your hand up to anything that helps you get closer to that, whether or not you get paid for that or not. When I first started, I was passionate about fitness. I still have my professional job, but I was writing, and I was writing for free. I was writing blogs. I was interviewing athletes. I did that because I loved it, and that helped me get connected with the community athletes and forge all these fantastic partnerships with people that I still work with to this day. I didn't get paid for it, but that really set me up for where I am now. So take any opportunity you can.
We had Matt Hall before you, and he was like, if you're into flying, go down and hang out in a hangar and, sweep the floor.
Absolutely.
And, clean the plane and, do it for free, because you never know when someone turns around and, oh, hang on, I need someone in the plane.
Sick.
Yeah. And
we need someone to fly this thing.
That's what
my moment.
That's exactly what he said. And
sure.
It's so spot on. Just don't be worried about the money. Just get in there if you really love it, because then it's not working, and have a crack. So yeah, great advice there. I've got rid of that next question. I hate it. So there's one last question. Toughest one we have.
Okay, drum roll.
Not many people know it because not many people get to the end. If you died and came back as a board game or a computer game or a movie, what would best describe your life?
My life. Okay. I haven't heard this one before. Every Monday morning meeting, we have an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Crazy question.
Yeah.
What animal would you be? What's your favorite holiday? So I'm going to use this for next week. So thank you. That's great.
Well, I used to say board games, and people would sit in there going, I have kids in here. And they don't play board games.
What's a board game where they're like Fortnite?
This kid, he's like,
Grand Theft Auto.
No, I've never played it. Yeah, that's right. I've never played a board game.
Was that yours, Grand Theft Auto?
You know what mine was?
What was that?
Mine was Scrabble.
Okay.
Now, the reason I say that is sometimes I say stuff and it's really profound. And sometimes I say stuff and it's really shit. So you never know what you're going to get either, because each time it's different. And that pretty much explains.
And it has to describe me. So there's like an underlying. So if I went out and said,
I think so.
Hungry hippos.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the? Yeah.
I don't know. That just came to my head. Hungry hippos.
And I'm fine with that. We've had.
I don't think it best represents me.
We've had snakes and ladders. Right,
snakes and ladders is good. Yeah, life's a roller coaster, ups and downs. I like that. A little bit too like generic. Though.
No, we've had.
Whoever said snakes and ladders. It is a good game.
We've had Mousetrap. We've had some game. It's a Brendan game. Yeah,
risk. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we've had a whole heap.
Monopolies. Is anyone throwing Monopoly out there?
Yeah, I think we've had. Look at this guy. He's all
You've
over
got the
it.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I would love to get that list because everyone asks me, but I need an answer from you.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sent this. See what I did there? I was trying to buy myself some time, but it didn't really help.
I knew exactly what you're doing. I'm quite happy to talk about the other ones around. A lot of people wrote it too. It goes to show you only remember the things you say last.
Okay.
We've had a James Newbury in here.
Okay. What did James say? He'll always say something.
He was risk, I reckon.
Yeah, okay. I feel like James would say something like completely different, which...
Kayla, we've had Kayla in here as well. And a big motivational quote to me was, keep eating salt and vinegar chips.
They are the best chips.
Oh,
yeah.
Red Rock, balsamic.
Nice. Yeah. Nice, good choice.
Yeah,
we're not getting any closer to this answer, are we?
We could have you as the first person not to answer it. You can do this. There's actually no rules in any of these podcasts.
Yeah, I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, well, we can stop it. If nothing comes to mind, then I think it's too hard.
It's pretty good. Like to be stumped at that because you don't want to go generic. You don't want to say something that people like. Monopoly would be like pretty good. There are moments where you're playing the game and
living the high life, and then you're fucked.
Living the high life. Yeah, exactly, right? Like we've all probably lived pretty close to that line at some point in time, and then there's times where maybe people just that you're playing the game with, or even you, like tip the board, game over because you've had enough.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, you're right. You've got the high life. You're sitting on Park Lane and Mayfair, and you've got the money. Like things are good. You go to
jail because you didn't pay tax.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely not me.
All right, don't worry, we're finally got 30 cents in a dollar.
Okay, all right.
All right, we can end it.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go with Monopoly. Yeah.
Oh, Monopoly.
Yeah, I think we've.
All right, and there you have it.
I got a couple of nods around the room, so
it's
that's good.
Monopoly. All right, thank Andy. Oh, we've tried to make this shorter. I find it really difficult, but we covered a lot of ground there. It's really great to see the success.
Thank you.
And to hear about it, starting, everyone loves that story, bedrooms, backyards, small and build. And you're from South Australia, Ridlington, you're coming at 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. We celebrated our 10-year anniversary this year, which is huge. We're super passionate to be from SA. I know that's how we originally connected, and kind of nice that you didn't think we're from SA as well. Like, I think we must be doing something right.
Absolutely thought it was American. Absolutely thought the branding was American. That was without looking at the site. That was just with what people at the gym.
Yeah, there you go.
Were wearing. I was staggered.
We'll take that.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
I was staggered.
Well, yeah, passionate from SA, taking on the world. We definitely feel that we punch above our weight class there. But
likewise,
humbled to be on the podcast. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
Awesome.